Real fan. Oh,
wait. Now go.
We got a little mix up there. What up? What up? Real Fans Podcast back at you again. Episode number 8. No, it's just me, your boy Gabe, here with Julian once again. Yo, what up, Julian?
What up? What up?
First, it has to be said, it can't be ignored. The fact that JoJo's not here today. He was actually so despondent this weekend because his Buffalo Bills lost that he actually had to go home to console his family. So he's up in Buffalo right now, upstate. So please, shout out to you. Prayers and condolences go out to JoJo and his Buffalo Bills family, Bills Mafia. Hope
all of them.
Yeah,
T's and P's.
Come home soon, safe. Come home safely. Your girlfriend misses you. She wanted me to tell you that. You haven't talked to her yet about your Bills loss. But anyways, we got lots to talk to. Many things on the slate. We had to get you.
Don't forget my. Don't forget my Buffalo sauce, JoJo. That's some pictures in Niagara Falls.
We got NFL playoffs going on. We just had the AFC, NFC championships. We got UFC that went on. All right. Also, we want to get into some Deshaun Watson, some quarterback talk. Maybe talk a little bit about this crypto thing going on. But let's talk about football first. What's the first game you want to talk about, Julian, that happened over this past weekend?
Let's talk about the one I actually watched beginning to end, and that one is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Packers. That game was electric. That game, I'm honestly shocked. I'm really shocked that Tampa won. I really didn't think, going into this, I was all in on Green Bay. I was like, there's no way Aaron Rodgers doesn't make it. Dude's on fire, MVP season. The defense was stepping up. They had everything going for them. And then, what do you know? The guy who's done it time and time again, Tom Brady, he comes, he does it. He's going to be the second quarterback, or no, I think if he wins the Super Bowl, he will be the second quarterback to Joe Montana to win a Super Bowl for both AFC and NFC. Or I think it was just is it to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl?
It's probably to go to the Super Bowl because I just remember Montana just being San Francisco only, so he was NFC.
Yeah, I think it was just to go then. I think it was just that. But yeah, I was really shocked. And then they went down early. There's terrible play calls at the end. And I mean, the game, Green Bay had the lead almost the entire time. Not Green Bay. Tampa had the lead almost the entire time, even with Brady's 3 picks, and honestly, they should have been able to come back from it, which they almost did. Yeah. But I don't know. What do you think of that game?
I think that game was lost at the half. So I went into this game. I was big up on Aaron Rodgers. First of all, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these teams go to the championship because both are very deserving. But I was kind of rooting for the Packers. And I kind of left last week. I said I trusted more in the Packers defense than the Tampa Bay defense. And I played myself because this game, I believe, was lost at the half. For me, Green Bay came out completely flat. There was nothing working for them. And you talked about how they almost crawled back, but I believe this game was lost at the half because if you remember going into the second half, I think it was 7 seconds left. What was it? It was a fumble.
It was no, it was a dumb blown coverage.
Okay.
Stupid ass call. Yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of plays. So, in the first beginning of the half, the Packers offense couldn't get going. They were making dumb plays. I remember, I think it was it their running back? They went. I think this was the play that led to the touchdown right before the half. It was a little. It was a check down. Couldn't throw to any wide receivers. He throws it left to a little screen to the running back. Running back catches it and just gets clobbered by, I think it was the safety, and causes a fumble, whatever. Couldn't hold on to the ball, couldn't catch, and it started turnovers. Was that the play? I don't know. I can't remember specifically. I got to look at the highlights again. But going into the half, Green Bay was down, and Tom made a huge comeback throw. You're thinking, they're just gonna dump a couple passes, get in kicking position, and just kick a field goal right before half, which would have been good because they had the momentum going at the time. And just Tom Brady heaves up this 40-plus thing to fucking score with 7 seconds on the clock. What's this guy, Bright? Bright
No,
completely
no, no. Scotty Miller.
Miller.
Scotty
Miller
Miller.
completely uncovered. Nobody jams him at the line, untouched. Just fucking turn on the afterburners. Nobody's after him. The safety has to cover from the middle of the field, has to go and is pretty much chasing behind him when this guy scores a touchdown right before the half. And then when they come back from the half, there's another score again from Tampa Bay. And I was like, oh man, this game is over. Like, there's no way. Like, Green Bay completely flat. Their defense had no clue out there. Their secondary was clueless out there.
Yeah, that specific play you're talking about was that like 40-yard bomb from Tom Brady to Scotty Miller.
Yeah.
That should have never happened.
That was right before the half.
That should have never happened. I don't understand. There's two people that were wrong there. The defensive coordinator who called the play. I don't know why he didn't have safeties over the top to cover that in case, because I wasn't surprised that they were going to throw, like, I figured they might do a check down here or there, but I knew one person was going to be running a go route straight up and trying to go over the top. So I don't know why they didn't have their free safety back there covering over the top. And then the other person at fault is the corner who was playing man-to-man press on him, and then he just got burnt. He should have never been in that position. He should have stepped back, played zone, and just the whole name of that, like, what you do is, look, when you got 7 seconds and a half, it's the same thing with that Jets game when they threw that Hail Mary. Like, you shouldn't be running man with a few seconds left. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. Like, you should have play zones, stay back, and then have another safety over the top to cover. Yeah. And it blows my mind how they let that happen, because you think Tom Brady's not going to see that? Out of all the players to do that, like, Tom Brady's going to hit that all day, every day, like, all the time. And then we go into the second half. Tom Brady throws 3 picks that game. Like, realistically, Green Bay had every chance to come in. And, like, everybody's going to look down at that that final play where they should have went for it on fourth, which I believe they should have, because I don't know why the fuck they would kick a field goal. But they should have, like, I don't understand how Tom Brady throws 3 picks and you still only score 26 points with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, with one of the best wide receivers in the league. And it's like, there's no excuses for Green Bay not to catch up and beat them. Like, I get Aaron Rodgers throwing that pick kind of hurt, but they had every opportunity to come in. And then I think their defense even got Tampa on a 3-and-out as well, and they still didn't do anything. And then they finally make some progress down the field to then go score the touchdown. They're in the 10, which I saw going in as, like, when I was watching that play, I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't Aaron Rodgers run it? Like, obviously, from the TV view, it looked like he could have possibly got it. If not, he could have at least got to, like, within the 5. But I mean, maybe he saw something. I don't know. But, like, he should have ran it. But then for them to kick a field goal is one of the most idiotic things I could have ever done. And I don't understand why Matt LaFleur, like, did that. Like, even Aaron Rodgers talks about, like, how he went on and he was like, he thought that was 4th down territory. Like, why would you go that? Because what's the point? You kick the field goal, and then what? You have to come back and you have to score a touchdown anyways. Yeah. So what's the point? Like, go for it. Yeah. And then on top of that, when you kick the field goal and then you kick off, you're giving Tampa Bay better field positioning. If you go for it here, get turnover on downs, at least they're within the 10. Yeah. And at least you can make a move and come back. Like, the whole thought process behind that made no sense. Like, it was one thing if you're a field goal away, but, like, the game was Green Bay's to lose. And I mean, Tampa made so many mistakes that game, they should have lost. But for some reason, Tampa's defense just has Green Bay's number. I don't know what it is. Like, they've been the only team the entire league that could stop them. And their defense is really good on paper, but sometimes they could be inconsistent. Yeah. So, but lately they've been really stepping up, but we'll see if they step against Kansas City.
I mean, they came out to play. They came ready to play. I think, what was the stat that was it Godwin and Gronk that went out 100 yards each?
Right here, Godwin went 5 receptions for 110 yards, and then
somebody else went 100 yards.
No, Godwin's the only one that went for 100 on Tampa. Then Green Bay, Marquez Scantling, he went for 4 receptions, 115 yards. Devontae Adams had 9 receptions was 67 yards, which, man, 9 receptions, 67 yards. That's a lot of receptions for just such little
Yeah.
yards.
I mean, Tampa, they came out to play, man. I doubted them coming into this game, and they came out to play.
I thought
I
they
don't
would
know.
learn. I thought Green Bay would learn from what happened last time, and then they didn't, and they just didn't execute. Or maybe Tampa's defense just really stepped up, and I mean they did, like they really stepped up. But I felt like there was just a lot of miscommunication, a lot of just like I just don't know what it is, but like Tom Brady always finds a way to win, man. It's insane. Like I really don't get it. Now they're going to be the first home team to host the Super Bowl, or the first home team hosting the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which is going to be kind of crazy, honestly. Like, man, good for Tampa, man. They've sucked. That city's sports has sucked for years, except for the Lightning. The Lightning have always been kind of good, but like for them to have 3 teams in the championship this year is incredible. I still can't get over it. Like that's so awesome.
I mean, good for them, I guess. I don't know. I don't really. I know a lot of the, I don't know. It's going to be strange going into this. I think as far as because I think I saw the press conference for the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers sounded pretty depressed. Like he sounded like, oh, I got to sit down and reevaluate whatever. He just got signed a big contract before they, coming into the season. They went ahead and moved up. The Packers moved up to draft Jordan Love. And they're like, wait, you just signed Aaron Rodgers to, you signed him to a big deal, and then now you're drafting his replacement. Like,
I don't think they signed him to a deal this past offseason.
No, I think it was the year before this draft, before Jordan.
I don't do that. I don't understand why the fuck they drafted. Do you think he's out? Do you think he's out? I mean, he's openly said that he openly said that he wants to be back, and he doesn't plan on going anywhere. But who's the front office to say what happens? Like, do you think they want him there? I mean, I think you're stupid to get rid of him. I don't think they actually will. I think he's going to end up playing in Green Bay next year. But like, there might be a possibility.
I mean, with all this conversation about available, quarterbacks, everybody's talking about Deshaun Watson right now. I mean, Aaron Rodgers not happy in Green Bay. So
this year has been this offseason is going to be insane.
Good.
The quarterback market is going to be insane. We're going to see some crazy ass fucking.
Hopefully, man. Shit. Hopefully. Because what? Go ahead. Finish what you thought.
I was going to say because now you got Matt Stafford, Watson, so on and so forth. Like all these guys, I don't think Aaron's going anywhere. I think he's going to stay back. But like, I really hope this offseason or this draft, they pick up another weapon, man. Another weapon. Like they need at least one more receiver, like a good number 2. Like, and there's tons of wide receivers in the draft and in free agency this coming offseason. It is super deep in wide receiver in both free agency and the draft. Like there's so many good guys out there. It's insane. So they have no excuse not to get anything.
So we'll see. We'll see comes up going. Shout out to Tampa. Congratulations on hosting the Super Bowl. I'll be rooting against Tom Brady once again, even though he's the GOAT and he already proved himself. He don't need this win. He's better than Belichick. He's the reason for winning. He's the greatest of all time. Yada yada yada. I want Tampa to lose, even though they're very talented. I mean, I like their players, man. They have a huge amount of weapons on that team, on that squad, and we'll see. It should be fun.
If he can win without Belichick, that'd be great. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy, man.
Whatever. I'll be rooting for him against them again. All right. Leading into the other game that happened this week was the Bills-Chiefs game that went on.
Bills Mafia. Bills Mafia.
Jojo, you can turn this off now. You don't have to watch this. You already watched the game. What do you think about this game? Because I remember I watched the first half. I was kind of into the first half. I thought it was tight, but then Patrick Mahomes is just gonna Patrick Mahomes, and freaking this game was crazy because Tyreek Hill was just running all over the field. He was just doing whatever he wants. He's too fast, cannot be covered. The guy's a damn cheetah. Him and Kelsey are just incredible running backs to have, or receivers to have. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the Bills-Chiefs games this week, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, this game was a huge disappointment. I was really expecting a lot more from Buffalo, but man, they they couldn't convert. I mean, they couldn't convert, and then they couldn't stop Kansas City at all. I mean, look at this. Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions, 172 yards. Like Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, 118 yards. Like they didn't even run the ball. Like
Yeah.
they only rushed for 114 yards.
I mean, and that's the power of Patrick Mahomes, man. When you have the best quarterback in the game right now, like, I'm sorry, man. Until y'all can beat them, they're the kings. They own the crown right now. You know what I mean?
Travis Kelce's insane, dude. Like, didn't he end up leading the entire league in receiving as a tight end? Like, that's incredible to me. Like that is that like the first time that's happened?
I don't think so. I would think
like maybe Gronk back in the day.
Maybe Gronk back in the day, and prime Gronk might have not even, because that would have been a big deal. Because I'm maybe possibly. I mean,
I feel like that wasn't talked about enough. Like Travis Kelce, like if he wasn't first, he was definitely second, but he was like in first place like almost the entire season of like leading receptions. I mean, receiving yards, which is just, I mean, that's just mind blowing to me. That's so crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, Green Bay, I mean, Buffalo, they couldn't put up points and they couldn't stop. They couldn't stop them, and nobody stopped Kansas City. And honestly, like I wanted a Kansas City Green Bay Super Bowl, but after seeing Tampa's defense, and I feel like Tampa's defense is going to come up to show up. I mean, and now with it being basically a home game for them, I think Tampa might be able to slow them down a little bit. I think they might be able to. I think you got Devin White and what's it, Levante David, is it his first? I forgot his first name, but David, Levante David. And you got decent corners, you got decent secondary. Like you can make some plays and you can stop these guys. And JC Pierre-Paul's been playing out of this world. You got Ndamukong. Like if you can disrupt Patrick Mahomes for a little bit, especially with his, we'll see how his toes. I bet you that shit was sore the day after.
Well, one of the biggest things, I guess, one of the biggest takeaways I take away from the Tampa game is their front. I mean, one of the biggest, talking about the secondary. What about the front guys up front? Their defensive linemen. They put fucking Aaron Rodgers on his ass. They were putting pressure on him all
Pierre-Paul
day.
He is like revived. Like, I mean, he's always been good and he's been a Pro Bowler. But like this past year, I mean, this dude's been unreal. He's been like Jason Pierre-Paul back with the Giants. Like he's been on another level this year. And yeah, that defensive front is insane up there. And I think they could really put up a good fight. I mean, it's going to be a really interesting game. And I think the thing is, though, Tom Brady cannot get away with those turnovers. He cannot. He cannot throw 3 picks again, which he probably won't. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Josh Allen, I felt like he did what he could do. He threw that 1 pick, but I think the big story is the defense just couldn't stop him. They just couldn't stop him. And like I said it last week, if to beat Kansas City, you got to put up 30 or more. Like you got to do it. You cannot be in the 20s. And I think Buffalo should have put up more points. Like I said, I watched the first half of it. And then as I started to see the writing on the wall and see the game started to go away from them, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm probably going to shut this off because it started to get boring. It wasn't nearly as entertaining as the Green Bay Tampa game. That game, I watched that game through and through. This game, it was like, this game's over. Like by the time, 21 points in the second quarter, like that's insane to me. Like that's so crazy, man.
And I don't think this is a bad season. Like the Buffalo Bills, obviously, with Tom Brady going to Tampa, I mean, obviously they were, that division, the AFC East was up for grabs, by the Dolphins and by the Bills. And I knew the Bills were going to be good because they had a good season previous to getting Stephon.
I think they need another weapon over there. I think they need another weapon, and they need a really good tight end.
So
I think they're missing that.
They could. I mean, I don't think it was a waste of season. Like I think they landed perfectly. They went to the championship. I mean, obviously you want to win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. But I don't think it's a bad season or a bad end to the season. Like you went up against fucking Patrick Mahomes. You went up against a Super Bowl team and lost, and that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like
I will say Kansas City's defense stepped up too.
Yeah.
Like the Kansas City defense played pretty well, and they were playing better than I expected. I mean, I think Frank Clark, I think he's had 2 sacks. Yeah, Frank Clark had 2 sacks. So I mean, they played pretty well. I mean, they showed up, they stepped up, they did their job. I mean, they slowed down everybody else. I mean, they held Stephon to 70 yards, which for Stephon Diggs, I mean, that's a good game, but like, I mean, that's like an average game for him.
Yeah.
And Cole Beasley got 7 receptions, 88. So, but like I said, I think for them to compete with Kansas City, they need another like serious threat, like whether it be a tight end. Like I have no idea who their tight end is. Like I have no clue, and that's not a good thing. That's just not a good thing. Like you need another, you need a tight end, and you need probably another receiver, and bolster your defense. Buffalo's right there, man. They're right there. And with Josh Allen, he's just going to get better. I don't see him really slowing down at all. I mean, he's really surprised me this year. I had no idea that he was going to end up being as good as he was.
Oh yeah, I realized that when he played the Dolphins last year, and he was running. I think he ran like 100 yards through the Dolphins. He ran like 50 yards in the first half. He was just running around the field, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy's dangerous. We're gonna have problems."
Well, he looked really good last year in the playoffs against Houston. I mean, that game was crazy. I remember that game last year in Houston. Like he played his fucking heart out that game. But
yeah, so speaking of Houston, so Super Bowl is gonna be I'll say Green Bay. Obviously, Tampa hosting in Tampa against the Chiefs. Are we gonna make any predictions?
We going?
We going? Hell no, I'm not going. I'm staying my ass at home. Going to Tampa?
We'll save that. We'll save that for next week. We'll really recap it next week.
Okay. Well, a little teaser. So stick around.
We got the boof ass Pro Bowl this week, and it's not even the cool Pro Bowl. Like I wish they just kept the Pro Bowl to like skills challenges.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
That's all I want. But they're starting to slowly get rid of it because of all the injury concerns or whatever. But
they don't even tackle.
Well, like they're afraid of like twisting an ankle or some shit.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You ever watch it like the ones back in the day where like they used to do the bench press and shit like that? Man, the skill challenges back in the day were awesome.
My favorite shit. So I grew up. I'm the MTV generation. Okay, I'm older than these guys. I'm older than JoJo. I'm older than Julia. I remember when it was around Super Bowl time. I always watch MTV all the time, and they would do like fucking celebrity like shit where they have wild shit where like there's a guy sitting on a couch behind the end zone. If you throw it to him, that's worth like 10 points or some shit. It was just
I remember that.
Yeah, they used to have fun games. Like they kind of did it a couple years ago, where they did more, like you said, more skills challenge where the quarterbacks are like maybe hitting targets or whatever, doing like some shuttle run.
They did it last year, but last year the only thing they really did was like for the quarterbacks, they did like these target like long distance targets, but that was it. But I want to see like some crazier challenges, like I don't know, like hitting more elaborate targets, or I want to see like a straight up 40-yard like race. I want to see like a 40-yard dash race.
Yeah, I prefer the skills challenge. I think they did it with Jarvis Landry. I think
because the game is whatever.
I don't ever watch the game. Hell, I never ever watched the game. But like if they have like a skill challenge, I think I saw a skill challenge with the wide receivers where they're like catching. We have to catch one hand or two hand. You have a diving catch, a toe tap. Different shit like that. Like that is more fun to me. Like it seemed kind of like I guess All-Star Weekend where they do like the 3-point challenge and they do.
Yeah, whatever. The problem is just the injury thing. That's what I last heard. I was looking into. It's just, I guess, the injury concern because if something was to happen. But man, I really wish they'd bring that back. And I always thought the bench press was cool. Like, but they haven't done that in forever. But I even remember having like Madden 07 or Madden 06 or whatever it was, and doing like the Pro Bowl challenges in the thing. And I remember having to do the bench press in there or the 40-yard dash. Sure, I don't even know what else would be awesome. Like maybe like. I don't know, like maybe like one-on-one Moss. Like I don't know, like I don't know. That
Pro Bowl's trash. Pro Bowl game is trash. Don't watch it. Turn it off.
They
And
just
do
need to do something. They need to do something that like they need to take it back to Hawaii. Honestly, like what the fuck are they doing in Orlando, bro? Like you're making even more of a reason for people not to care. Like at least like back in Hawaii, like it was cool. Like who wouldn't want to go there? Like
yeah, they
anybody can
always
go
bring
fucking.
their families. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like a big
Anybody
deal.
can go to fuck. Anybody can go to fucking Orlando. Orlando, like
Yeah.
I never understood why they left or Hawaii for like Arizona and like Orlando. No, you want these guys to come out and do it. Take them out to Hawaii. They'll totally be down to do that. Maybe do like golf challenges or something like that.
What
Like
else? I don't know. Yeah, yeah. That
something cool. Like I'd be down to watch some like players play fucking golf. Like I might be down to see that. I don't know, or like hitting it the farthest, or you know, it'd be cool. Like I always thought it'd be awesome, but like you see, like these guys play other sports.
I mean, they
Like
kind of do with
seeing them play other
football.
sports against people in the profession of that sports. Like seeing like the Los Angeles Lakers play against the Tampa Bay Lightning in a hockey, like or some shit
Oh,
like that.
okay. Why would they even do something more dangerous than football? Though?
Yeah, I'm saying like
I mean, they
it'd
kind
be
of do shit
fun.
like that already with like golf tournaments, you know, charity tournaments and shit.
Yeah,
You know,
but golf is
celebrity softball. They do that
golf's
stuff.
fucking lame. I'm
Um,
sorry, but golf's lame. Golf's so boring.
I mean, people
Golf's
like
a
it.
retired man sport.
I know it's for old men
Retired
who are not in shape because they can do it. It doesn't take that much, you know,
or
physical.
rich kids. Or rich kids who can pay to go to a country club.
I've never golfed. I've only putt, so I don't know.
I played top golf. That was
Top
about
golf?
it.
I want to go.
I've done driving ranges. That's it. I've never actually. You know, there's actually a golf course right next to me
Oh, I
that
remember. Yeah,
you could play for like $10, and I might do
I,
it one day. I might get
I
into golf. Fuck it.
I drove by that one. I think that one. I think they filmed fucking. There's something about Mary there. I think that's the one where there's like a scene at a golf thing. Look it up, man. Okay, I'm talking about some old man shit right now. If you watch this, about Mary, there's a scene where they're at a golfing range or whatever. And he's like discussing thing. I think that's the one by your house.
Maybe.
Look it up. Look it up. But the only reason why I went by your house is because this past weekend we did watch UFC this weekend together.
The UFC fight
before JoJo left for Buffalo. We did
yeah.
together. You know, we were distant.
That was before the game. He was actually talking about he couldn't stop talking about the Buffalo game that whole night. We're like over here watching all the fights and everything. He's like, "Yo, I can't wait for this Buffalo game." Then I didn't hear a word the next day after.
Want to talk about UFC? What do you want to talk about? You just want to talk about the main fight, or you want to talk about the lead ups? I mean, we watched.
Yeah, we watched the prelims, but the card was kind of whack, honestly. Like there was nobody I really cared to see. That second to last, the co-main event was pretty. That dude knocked the fuck out of that one guy, and then did like a backflip off the cage.
Yeah. Oh, the guy.
I don't. Yeah, it was a short match too. Wasn't it like a first round knockout?
That was the guy. His debut for Bellator, right?
The guy. Fuck. What's his name? Let me see. I think it was Michael Chandler or something like that. Let's pull it up here. Yeah, it was like it was his debut.
Because we're sitting there, we're like half talking, having conversations, just talking amongst ourselves, talking bullshit. We're like, it wasn't even on that loud. We didn't turn on the volume until the McConnor.
Yeah,
McConnor fight.
The McConnor.
You say McConnor, but you get what I'm talking. Conor McGregor.
I don't know why.
We're like half talking, eating pizza, drinking beer, just bullshitting until the real fight started, I guess, or the main event. But that Bellator dude,
here we go.
But he's legit. He's won fights or he's beat fighters.
Michael Chandler. This is what the guy's name was. Michael Chandler. Yeah, he knocked him out like fucking. Yeah, TKO round 1, 2 minutes 30 seconds.
You're mentioning the English dude. You know the English dude who was like I think his nickname
Australian.
was
Australian. Or New Zealander.
His name was like the Hangman or something. It was like something. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, Dan Hooker. Yeah, I know. I've heard of Dan Hooker. He was the only other guy I really like heard of on there. These other fights I didn't really care about. The girl fights, the woman fights, kind of sucked. But yeah, dude. I mean, this guy 17 to 24 total strikes, and then 12 and 17 to the head, 4 to 6 to the body. Like,
yeah.
dude,
I think
he knocked him the fuck out.
the New Zealand dude, he was mainly kicking. Like he was kind of striking, and it was weird because he's the longer. I think he had a longer reach, longer kick because he's way taller than Chandler.
I I
And
believe so.
his main fighting was
Yeah, he was 6'5", 155.
he was mainly kicking and striking, but he really wasn't attacking. Like and this Chandler dude came at him and just fucking he couldn't fight. He was putting his hands up, guarding, wasn't throwing punches. So that was it for that fight. Yeah.
And then we went to the main event, which everybody has been waiting for, which was Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, which, wow, I'm actually looking at these stats. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't realize they're pretty similar in total strikes. And then Poirier actually landed more significant strikes. That's actually kind of surprising because watching that fight, it looked like Conor was winning standing up, like striking, like the whole time. So like Dustin Poirier took him down in the first round, I believe. And then
I remember he caught up against the fence. Like, oh, you better get off that fence. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like fucking around on the fence for a little bit. Then Conor started hitting some of those shoulder hits he did last time against Cerrone. And then they kind of boxed for a little bit. And then when they were standing up striking, I think where a lot of these total strikes came from was when he had him pinned or on the fence. I'm pretty sure, because I know for a fact when they were standing up and striking, like it wasn't even close. Like it seemed like Conor was winning that whole time.
He was controlling
Conor was outboxing the hell out of him. Like Conor was like he was sneaking him in with left jabs.
He was picking the spots as far as like punching. Like he was always picking the spots, striking that first round. So like when I saw this by the end of the first round, I'm like, Conor's got this. And if this goes to the second round, this guy Poirier is not gonna be standing
but Poirier was chipping at his legs. I mean, as you can see here, 18 out of 21 leg kicks. Like, and I remember seeing that he was kicking his calves, but I'm like, whatever. I mean, he keeps on pounding him in the head so that's why I'm really surprised to see that he actually landed way more significant strikes. Because watching it, like I said, it had been, but like watching it, like boxing, Conor was winning that boxing match. Yeah. He was winning it, but then he just got caught. He got rocked big time, and that's all it takes. All it takes is one hit. That's all it takes. And I was really surprised. I mean, I'm not. Well, I'll take that back. I'm not super surprised. Like Dustin Poirier is a really good fighter, and he's not the same guy that Conor faced 6-7 years ago. In 2014, he's gone through the gauntlet. He is beating out everybody in the lightweight division. Dustin Poirier is on fire right now, and I think Conor's even openly talked about like he needs to fight more. He's talked about how he wants to fight more, and I think last year was kind of a hit. I think the UFC didn't really want to fight him because they didn't want to pay him the money he was asking for, especially because there's no fans and no box office. And I think this year he's going to fight a lot more. He's talking about wanting to have like 3 fights in this year, which I think he should. I think he should fight more. I wouldn't be surprised if Conor fights again and he loses and he retires like for good.
You think so?
But I think as long as he's winning, he's going to keep on fighting.
Yeah,
I think his final goal is he wants to get the belt one more time. I think if he gets the belt one more time, then he's calling it, because I think he really wants to end on top, and I don't think he likes the idea that he lost the belt. Like Conor hasn't won a fight since 2016 against Eddie Alvarez. Like he lost to Khabib. He fought Mayweather. He did all that. Well, he beat Cerrone, but other than that fight, I mean, and Cerrone was the ghost of Cerrone, honestly, some people call it, because Cerrone was so old, and he's just he retired after that fight. But I think Conor comes back. He just needs to fight more. He needs to be more active, and I think he has to go through the ringer though. He's gonna have to win like probably 3 fights to get a title shot.
He admitted to so much, after at the end of the post ring fight, he actually snuck around and also was talking. And he admitted, he's like, yeah, I need more fights. I hadn't fought since 2019, I think he said.
Last year. Okay. Just over a year. But before that, he didn't fight for like 2 years.
Yeah. So I think he's gonna stick around. I think this is bad for his brand, like whatever, he's the shit talker, whatever. But I mean, you keep losing, like that steam goes away. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to give him a friendly matchup this next one, and they're going to pair him up with another striker because he just hasn't fared well against wrestlers. And I think they're going to put him up against a striker, a mid-level, like maybe ranked 6 or 7 striker, and then let him get a win. And then after that, they'll probably give him a pretty serious. Maybe this Michael Chandler guy, depending who he might fight next, because this guy is definitely going to get ranked and be pushing for title contention. Because this guy apparently is UFC, he was killing it in Bellator, and now he just
that's what they say.
Splash in his UFC debut.
They say he's legit. You know what I mean? That he's fought legit fighters in the Bellator. I mean, and this was his debut. It came out pretty good. The overall for Chandler, I think his overall fight was it was okay. Like it was definitely overmatched. Like I said, this guy had more reach, taller, longer, and he came out with a big win.
But as far Hooker's no joke.
Yeah. But as far as say McConnor again.
McConnor.
As far as McGregor, I think he's gonna stay in the league. He's gonna stay in the UFC. Like, there's too much money to be made. He's their prime. Like, who's other? I mean, you're.
I don't think he's fighting. I don't think he's fighting for the money. This man's got so much money. I think he's fighting for the glory. I think he really wants the belt one more time.
Listen, if that proper 12 was doing well, he wouldn't. You know what I mean? I feel like he just right into the sunset. You know what I mean? He'd buy a stock in some game stock. And
well, it's like with that famous, oh my God, I can't remember. I don't know if it was Roy Jones. I think it was. It's like it's hard getting up at 5 a.m. in silk pajamas.
Oh, that's so
it's
bad.
hard getting up 5 a.m. in silk pajamas, and it's true. It's true. I mean, you have these guys that are they're hungrier. They're just like you got a guy like Poirier. I mean, they're hungry, man. They want that belt. But I think they're going to end up giving him, like, I don't want to say a cupcake, but like, I think they're going to give him a favorable matchup. And then, because I mean, it's in the UFC's best interest to keep him fighting.
Yeah.
And then who's to say maybe at the end of his contract, he goes free agent or retires or what? I don't see him going anywhere else. I don't see him going to Bellator or nothing like that. But
so I'm looking at the schedule. When's the next UFC? What's the next fight we should be looking forward to? As far
the
as
next fight is going to be this Kamaru Usman. Here it is right here. And Gilbert Burns. And we got Uriah Hall and Chris Weidman. These other 3 on the main event, I don't really know who they are. But the co-main event and this main event's not bad. I'm actually kind of excited for this. This one's going to be a good one. We should watch this one. Kamaru Usman is just like, that dude's a freak of nature, man. Like, that guy, he is so fucking yoked for 170. He is so jacked, bro. Like I mean, he put Tyron Woodley on his ass. Like, and Tyron Woodley's like, he's another guy that's like completely fucking jacked. And then he put him on his ass, and then he put fucking Jorge Masvidal on his ass too.
I mean, he's kind of stomping the shit out of his feet. I mean, was that a really?
Yeah, I didn't. But the thing is, I didn't see Masvidal winning that fight, man. Masvidal, he's not a good wrestler. Well, his wrestling doesn't compare to Usman. Usman is going to be. He's probably one of the best wrestlers in.
Didn't he wrestle in college? I think. Was he a college wrestler? Or
who? Usman?
Yeah, where does he come from? Where was his background? Do you remember?
Well, he's Nigerian, but I believe he.
Isn't he from like Wisconsin or some shit?
Let me see.
I know he's Nigerian.
I believed he wrestled, actually, now that you bring it up.
Let me see. I'm looking now at his college, NCAA Division II wrestling. Where do you go to school?
That was it.
He went to Nebraska Kearney Loopers.
So he wasn't like big name.
Well, he won bronze 2008, silver 2009, and he won a gold in 2010 at Omaha at the 174. So he was a college wrestler. So,
But he's D2. So, okay. Yeah. So he wasn't like, I mean, yeah, his wrestling is probably his strength, but he's not like, he wasn't. But now, I mean, he makes up for it now.
Yeah.
Now he's a beast wrestler. Like, so I know the name Gilbert Burns. I've seen a fight. I don't know too much about him. I'll probably look more into him once gets closer. This Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman fight's going to be interesting. Chris Weidman's kind of old now, and he's been kind of washed for a while. I'm not a huge fan of him. He was the one that took down the great Anderson the Spider Silva when he snapped his leg. So that's going to be interesting. That's the next UFC fight. What I'm really pumped about is UFC 260 in March 27th. Got Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. That's going to be one hell of a fight. I am super down for this one. Then you got Alexander Volosky and Brian Ortega for the featherweight. But yeah, that's the one I'm super pumped for. That one's going to be fucking insane.
Was that in March?
And I bet you whoever fights this guy, I don't know. One of these two fighters is going to fight John Jones, 100%.
All right. So I definitely am looking at. I'm definitely a John Jones fan. I'll be looking out for that fight. But that's not for a couple months now. I think in March it says. So
yeah. So
we'll definitely
do another watch review. But Adesanya's fighting. I've missed this March 6th.
All right.
Jan Baloch. Yeah, there's a whole good so we had the McGregor fight. We're gonna have Usman. Gonna have Adesanya, and then we're gonna have the heavyweights. Oh, and Amanda Nunes. All right, so this isn't a bad card either. Wow. All right. The one thing I've noticed though, like I think with COVID and everything, the UFC they haven't had like any like crazy cards yet. They've been saving like everything for like one fight, maybe two. Like this one's like, yeah, 2 title fights. But I noticed I don't know if maybe the amount of money they're able to pay the fighters right now because not having a arena, but like I noticed they've been only really keeping like one like good fight, maybe 2. But hopefully that changes soon because I kind of hate paying for a whole card just to get like one good fight, Reminds me of boxing back in the day.
Are they always free? Because you had the ESPN Plus, the ESPN Plus app. So all those are streaming, right? Because they have a deal. The UFC has a deal.
No,
with ESPN.
You need to have ESPN Plus to buy pay-per-views, which is kind of bullshit. So you have to sign up for their subscription service, which I have because I have like the Disney Plus bundle thing. Yeah. So it granted me, I was eligible to buy it, so then I bought it, and then me and JoJo split it because you got the food and whatnot. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's kind of stupid. I wish it wasn't like that. I wish you just buy it outright, or at least if you have ESPN Plus, at least give me like a discount or something. Like charge $70 for like a random person, and if you have ESPN Plus, make it like I don't know, like $50. Whatever. Yeah. What can you do? But all right, let's get back to the NFL with some Deshaun Watson because a lot of shit is heating up with that right now because he actually today just declared that he officially wants to be traded from his agent, which supposedly they've talked about. They said that it's been official since a couple weeks now, but like now it's really came out that he's calling for a trade, which is going to be really interesting to see because Houston already came out. I don't know if it's the owner or the GM said that they're not trading him.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Houston just brought in their new coach. He was the assistant coach for the Baltimore Ravens, and he's been assistant coach for like decades, apparently. He's never been a coordinator. So, yeah. Where do you think he's going to end up?
I honestly think because his contract he has a no trade contract in his clause, and if he's going to want to be traded, he's going to have to like rip up. I don't know. I'm not sure the legalities as far as the league and the players union.
I think he has a decision on where he goes.
Yeah, well, he has a decision if they want to restructure his contract, rip it up and make a new one. I don't know if that's actually plausible. Or I know in real life you can break it. You can't tear up contracts as long as both parties agree that they can change the contract. Then they can.
Well, no.
But I don't know.
I think how this is going to go. I think whoever's trading for him, they're taking that contract with him.
Yeah.
I'm almost 100% on that one. They're going to take it with him. What I remember hearing too, though, is within his contract, or maybe it's something to do with no trade clause contracts, that they have a choice. Like they can say no to a trade. Something with his contract, he's able to say no to it. So if they want to send
Well,
him to
well,
New York or whatever, like he can say no.
that's what I've been most confused about. Because when you say a no trade contract, it means you can't even touch my contract. My contract, I'm staying here in
There's
Houston.
always a
You
way
can't
to
do
move
nothing.
it.
But
There's always a way to move it.
sometimes they have player options. So like I didn't hear anything about a player option, because if that was possible, then obviously then him going to Miami
Well,
or
they
whatever would
ain't
be
moving that
possible.
contract. They're not changing that. I mean, he just signed that contract this past off season. So like
Well,
that.
that's what I'm saying. And I think in the real world, you can tear up contracts as long as both parties agree and just make a new one. I don't know if that's actually feasible. Like, I've never heard of anybody doing that in NFL. Where they're just like, oh, yeah, that contract I just signed for all that money, just rip it up and we'll make a new one like this year. I don't know how that rules. But obviously he's disgruntled. And, the Houston Texans came out and they said, we have no interest in getting rid of Deshaun Watson. To me, I think all this trade rumor, because as a Miami Dolphins fan, they're talking about, oh, what do you gotta get rid of Tua, get Watson. It's an upgrade. I see no feasible path to get Watson, and even if you did, you get to give up so much.
Oh no, I think all right. So Houston, they're saying that they're not going to trade him. I think that's just tactics. But I honestly think if they were given the right deal, they would do it. I really think if Dolphins pull the trade off, they get Tua, you get your first you get the two first round picks. I think they pull the trigger on that. I think they take it. I mean, some people like to throw out the Jacksonville thing, which is there's no way they're doing it. But I mean, honestly, like Houston to be say hypothetically, if Jacksonville did want to do it, like the Houston would be stupid not to take it, and they'll take it in a heartbeat. I mean, all Houston wants is to get rid of this like nonsense. So like, yeah, I mean, if Houston was to come in and like Dolphins were like, look, we'll give you a third round pick, our third overall pick, and our other first round pick, I think they hop on that and maybe a couple more, maybe either a player or more, or maybe a second round pick. I think they take that. I don't see why they wouldn't. And like same thing with Jacksonville. I mean, like, if, who the hell would say like no to that? Like, oh, you want Trevor Lawrence? All right, here you go. Like, but I wouldn't want that, and I don't think they would do interdivision trade like that. So if they're gonna, I wouldn't be surprised they send him off to the AFC. I mean, the NFC, or for sure out of the division. I don't see him going to the Colts or whatever. But I mean, dude, if I was Miami, I think about it, man.
Nah, I think
I don't think Tua will ever be as good as him. I really don't.
That might be true. That might be true. Especially, I think for now, I think you can say by the numbers empirically that is true. But I think as far as Watson comes to Miami, not with this contract, not in not in this situation with his contract. I think you're more likely to see, like Matt Stafford or Aaron Rodgers come to Miami before Watson is even in the conversation. So to me, it's like even
the Jets. I can see the Jets going. I think the Jets have the capital to do it. I mean, you got the second overall pick. You got Sam Darnold. Got another first round pick. The Jets might pull the trigger and do it with this new coach, Robert Saleh. So, but it is hard. It's hard because first off, it's going to be a bitch to move him because he's worth so much.
Yeah,
it's going to be super hard to move him. And then you just got a new coach and a new GM, and you want to be your first move as a GM is to trade away your star quarterback. The number one thing to do as a GM in this league or a coach was the one thing that you have to do first. Find a franchise quarterback. Yeah. And you want your first move to be getting rid of it. But check out this right here. So share my screen.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's Houston's leverage. They can find Deshaun Watson up to $95,877 for missing minicamp. They can fine him $50,000 per day, each day for training camp missed, plus 1 week salary, and $620,000 for each preseason game missed. And if he retires, Texans can collect $21.6 million. But like they could find the shit out of him if they could.
Yeah, but okay. So you find all right, let's not even talk about I don't
But
even
I
know.
think that would make him. I think
Yeah,
that'd make him more mad, though. Honestly,
yeah. He's already disgruntled. He's already pissed off, and he already wants to leave. Like, do you think finding him is going to make him like, oh, okay, now you're going to find me? Okay, let me play with the team now. Like, with a guy with his value that he can offer to any other team, like money, being a premier player in the league, like that. I don't think that's a big motivator. Like he could probably make that in whatever shoe contract or whatever endorsement money make. You know what I mean? Like that finding him is not going to motivate him to play for you or make him feel better about being on the Houston Texans.
well, it's this Easterby guy. Have you heard of that name? Yeah,
Uh,
apparently he was like the lead like pastor. I'm not pastor. I can't think of the word the top of my head for like the Patriots.
oh yeah, like the chaplain.
Chaplain, the lead chaplain, and now he's like a higher up figure in Houston. It's insane to me. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what Houston is like, man. They're so obsessed with like the New England way. I mean, why would you pick up? You just got rid of Bill O'Brien, and now you're going to get another GM, Nick Caserio, as like player personnel for the New England Patriots. I don't know, but obviously it didn't work last time. And Patriot players, almost Patriot people that come from that tree, don't ever really turn out to be something. I mean, obviously we'll see with Flores and we'll see with Vrabel, but all these other guys have fucking shit the bed. But we'll see. I'm really curious. I really don't know what to expect from this. Like, I really don't know. Is he going to get traded? Like, it's going to be hard.
They'd have to rip it. Like I said, I think they have to rip the contract. And from right now, what they've put on social media, Houston Texans are not interested in doing anything with the contract except.
Well, you would have to look that up. I'm not sure if that's because all I hear is about trading him with that contract. I don't know if you can just get rid of that contract.
Well, I don't. That's the thing. If he has a no trade contract, then you can't do anything because legally you cannot trade him. So what are you trading? You know what I mean? Unless they decide to dissolve it, throw it away, write up a new one where, oh yes, you can trade me only if I agree to be traded, and then you know what I mean, unless something.
Well, no, I think that's what the no trade clause is right now.
I thought no trade. I thought that no trade clause was like nothing. You cannot trade at all. Sometimes there's player options where you can ask a player, like you have to get player approval to get traded. Sometimes that's in the contract, but from what I've heard indicated, I didn't read his damn contract. I didn't write it up. I'm just hearing stuff on the news. It's just none. Like in my mind, it's like, no, you cannot trade nothing at all. Like it's not like a player option, like, oh, you can trade me if I agree. It's like, no, you cannot trade me. That's what I know. I don't know. We'll see, man. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be much to make about it. I think he's just gonna be disgruntled coming up to next year. We'll see if I assume he's gonna be professional and go to practice because there's nothing, there's nothing previously about Deshaun Watson about him not showing up to practice or him showing up late to meetings or whatever. I have faith that he's gonna be a true professional and just show up. He'll be pissed off. Maybe he won't be happy and he'll be disgruntled, but we'll wait to see. We still got a Super Bowl to play, so. In due time, we'll see how much he gets fined or if anything changes. You know what I mean?
Well, we're going to keep on the topic of trades. It seems like a trade that's pretty close to happening, probably within this week or next week, is your boy right here, Matthew Stafford. Which, honestly, man, when you think about it, like, this guy's been through so much shit. Like, and the Detroit Lions fans, they actually want him to be traded. They want him to go somewhere and actually win. Because out of all that suffering that they've been through, like, he's been the only bright side. And it's so weird because usually when you think of a team that's like not playing well or they suck or whatever, you think, oh, they have a shitty quarterback. This hasn't been the case for Detroit for like the past 12 years that or 10 years he's been in the league. Because I think he got drafted in 2009. But like, he has played lights out like his whole career. Like he's had like he's not an up and down quarterback. He's pretty consistent. He's always put up stats. He's been a real professional. Like he's dealt with some shit. I mean, they got Calvin Johnson was gone. He's lost countless players, and I think what sent him over the edge was actually his offensive coordinator, who just so happened to be the Jaguars picked up Darrell Bevell as our OC. So when they got rid of him and he moved on to come over here to Jacksonville, that was like the final straw for Matthew Stafford and he wants out, which he should. I mean, I want him to go somewhere where he can win. And the two top destinations everybody's talking about is the Colts and the 49ers, which I don't want him seeing him go to the Colts. I don't want him in my division. I don't, because I know if Matt Stafford steps in that culture, because the Colts are literally a quarterback away. They have a stacked defense. They got receivers. They got a running game. They got one of the best O-lines in the league. They got a good coach. They are literally a quarterback away. And that's rare, because usually it's the opposite. Usually it's the other way around. And for them, like, they literally just need a piece. So, like,
and the Colts,
heard that.
I was gonna say, and the Colts were literally like a freaking touchdown away. The last play that I saw from the Colts is Philip Rivers heaving it up like 5 yards short on the last play. His fucking arm was shot, buddy. Go ahead before I interrupt you.
But same for San Francisco. San Francisco's the same way. I mean, San Francisco they have a really good run game. They got a really good O-line. They got weapons with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel. Your defense is stacked. Like, you got a really good defense. The only reason they were kind of bad this year was due to injury. They had a lot of injured players. You plug Matt Stafford in there, because I was never a Jimmy G believer. I always thought Jimmy G was ass, especially after all of us saw him fucking miss that guy in the touchdown for the Super Bowl by like 20 fucking yards. And I was like, yep, just like I said, Jimmy G is not the fucking guy. So you throw Matt Stafford in there, they're immediately Super Bowl. Wherever Matt Stafford's not going to go to no scrub team. And he shouldn't. He's been on a scrub team for like 10 years.
Yeah, I think
if I go to the Colts or go to the 49ers, from what I heard, that they said that the Colts, that reports are saying that the 49ers are offering 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks for Matthew Stafford, which is interesting, because I thought for sure they would have to give up a first-rounder. But a lot of people believe that's kind of, they're playing kind of hardball with the Colts.
You have to go up, so start short. Start to see if that's enough a little.
I think the Colts would give up a first rounder. Like I said, I don't want to see him in the Colts, because I don't want to go against him 2 games in the season, 2 times a year. I really like to see him in San Francisco. But we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. I wish him the best, because I've always been a Matt Stafford fan. I've always thought, like, man, it's such bullshit. And I literally can't think. Him and maybe Philip Rivers are the only people I can think of that have played for so long, and nobody's ever blamed them for, like, not winning. Like, they're the only two.
I'm looking now, as far as this year, I see that San Francisco has a 12th position in the draft this year, but Detroit has number 7. So Detroit definitely has a higher pick than San Francisco. If I had to pick, if I was Matthew Stafford, I would want to go to the Colts. I think they have a better option. Although the 49ers this year, they were just decimated by injuries and COVID from beginning to end. Like, they had no chance.
Kicked out of their own state.
I mean, they had
Arizona.
Had one of the worst seasons. If you're a 49ers fan, like, you guys had one of the worst seasons. Just a travesty, a tragedy of the season.
Well, that's another thing too, that I didn't even think about this, but, like, it could probably be another reason why he might rather go to the Colts. I mean, with the state of, like, how the Bay Area is, and, like, how strict their regulations and everything are, and, like, they can't even practice or, like, play in their own city. Like, do you even want to go through that? Like, do you want to have to go through, like, kind of having to buy a house in the Bay Area, but yet you're working in, like, Arizona because your city doesn't let you play? Or do you just want to go to the Colts, where there's less regulation, to where you can, like, practice in your own facility, you can play home games in front of fans? Like, do you want to go through that hassle of being in California right now, or do you go to Indy?
I think that's going to change over the summer, obviously, with stuff rolling out, as far as the vaccines rolling out, and it'll change. I think by next year, I think we'll still be having the effects of it, but I don't think that should be like a major decision, like a deal breaker or whatever.
I don't know.
But
California's been kind of they've been kind of iffy.
I think the Colts are a better option as far as Matt Stafford. If he gets traded to the Colts, I mean, I think they're a little bit more situated, more.
Yeah, you
I
got
feel
Jonathan
like
Taylor, Pittman Jr.'s coming around. Ty is probably going to still be there. I think they pick up another guy
and
somewhere.
like I said, they have the number 7 pick, so they have a pretty high draft pick. I don't know what they're gonna pick, but if they wanted to pick somebody pretty good, I mean, picking the 7th best college player is a pretty good spot to
They're
be in.
probably taking a QB. If Stafford's getting traded, they're taking a QB.
So we'll see. We'll see with that.
Justin Fields.
That's what everybody's saying. Is yeah, Justin Fields. I want to end this episode talking about recent events, things that's going on. So over this past weekend, there was a what do you want to call? What do I say? I don't want to say like a situation. There was like I want to say revolution that went on.
Revolution.
A revolution that went on. And I'll promise you this is sports related because we're gonna get to it. Julian has the tabs he's gonna pull up. But there's kind of a revolution. I guess there's a Reddit page, Wall Street Bets, and they saw stuff going on in the market. These companies that are on Wall Street, they're betting on companies to lose money and go down, what they call shorting. I don't know if you guys saw the movie The Big Short. It's all about betting on a loser, right? Betting on something to blow up. So this little Reddit community, they said, screw this. We're going to bet on the little guy, and we're going to raise the stock price of these little guys like GameStop, AMC, Nokia. What was the other one? I don't know. There's another one, BlackBerry. We're going to bet on these little guys, change their stock prices, make them go up. So they're kind of sticking it to the man, kind of. And that's been the biggest thing that's going on this past weekend. And it is sports related because a lot of these hedge funds guys, all these Wall Street guys, a lot of them, they make their money. And what do they do with their money? They buy yachts, they buy Ferraris, and they buy sports teams. So one of the central to the story is this company called, was it Media Capital? Let me pull it up because I have here. Oh, Melvin Capital.
We have the guy from the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. So Julian has right here about the Charlotte Hornets. So at the center of this the little guy beating up the big guy. The big guy is this company called Melvin Capital, and the owner of this is called, or the CEO of it is called Gabe Plotkin. Now, Gabe Plotkin is a part of this hedge fund that kind of they bet on losers, right? The part of their portfolio of making money is that when other companies lose money, they make money. So he's kind of the center of this, and he's actually part owner of the Charlotte Hornets. And the Charlotte Hornets, obviously an NBA team, Michael Jordan. He's partners with Michael Jordan with the Charlotte Hornets. So, and not only Gabe Kaplan, because this company, Melvin Capital, is at the center of this Wall Street Bets revolution. Also, other teams. So like the New York Mets, if you scroll down.
Right here, the Golden State Warriors are one of the bigger, very deep talkative player on the other side of the bet is Golden State Warrior investor Champ Math. I don't know how to say that dude's name.
So yeah, so all these Wall Street guys, they go and they're part owners or in conglomerates with other teams. So like right here, if you read down further on this article from True Hoops, you see the New York Mets are run by celebrity billionaire Stephen A. Cohen. Plotkin, who's the guy, this Melvin Capital guy, is one of the top managers for Cohen's Capital Advisors, which is another company. So this guy, Plotkin, part owner of the Charlotte Hornets, runs his hedge fund, bets on losers, and Reddit wanted to punch it to the man. They want to punch up to the man. Also, in this involved is baseball. New York Mets owner is also a part of this hedge fund. Part of his the way he makes money investing in capital is through Gabe Plotkin's Melvin Capital. He's invested in this part of this company. So even though it over this weekend it was like a financial story, just like these guys, the internet fighting Wall Street. It is a sports story. There are these things are interrelated, right? They're business, sports business, finance. They're all interconnected. And Julian, I just kind of gonna get your opinion of like what you thought of this weekend, like how much you learned, because I had to learn some of this stuff too. I know about shorting a little bit because I watched the movie The Big Short. It was where I kind of learned a little bit. Now I'm not an expert. I just know like surface level of like who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, and I just wanted to, Julian, get your opinion of like what you thought of this weekend. Was it a learning experience? What did you know? How do what is your whole thing, your whole take on this?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on until somebody from my work were talking about the AMC and GameStop, and then my boss bought some GameStop stock. I actually did not know anything about these owners and everything and how they were like involved and all this stuff. I had no idea. I didn't know they were in this until Gabe just brought it up now. But I mean, what I no, yeah, actually I learned about because I didn't know about shorting. So I actually like sat down, just like watched a video about it, basically like overview of like how you borrow a stock from a broker and then you sell that stock, and then as it's going down, you then rebuy the stock at a lower price, and then you send it off and you pocket money. And then you buy it back, and then you give the broker the stock price, and then whatever the commission is on top of that, and then you pocket the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of hilarious. Honestly, it's funny. It's really funny, and apparently, this is something that's they've done forever, and it's just something they've always done to like companies who are failing. And I mean, it's not like you're. I mean, it's not like you're really hurting anybody, from what it seems like to me, because at the end of the day, these companies are going out of business anyways. You're just managing the stocks of how to still make it profitable while this company's slowly going out of business. And I guess these people on Reddit were just like, hey, it almost came off like a prank almost, where it was like, hey, let's just fuck with them. And I think as of right now, they're still holding the line on them.
I think
You see all these memes and all these people's like, don't sell. Don't sell.
hold the line.
I heard of one kid, he turned 50K into 15 million and all this.
Yeah.
It's insane. Let me see where it's at now.
If you wanted to switch, I want to put on some of the memes because I love being on Twitter. We have our Twitter handle at Real Fans Podcast.
But right here, the stock price is still at $325.
Yeah.
It's like
last week was like
dude.
$8-10, and then went up to 40, and now it's up to like 300, 200, 400. It's still holding around.
That's why, yeah. And people are holding the line. People really aren't doing it. It's funny how they're like really holding it, just to hold it as long as possible to screw all these people over.
I was kind of watching this weekend, and I just watch on Twitter. Like I didn't know anything about this Reddit handle or whatever, so I was kind of learning just like everybody else. And Julian, if you want to switch over to my screen, to some of the memes that were going on. So we have memes like this one. You know what I mean? It says AMC BB Dodge. These are just Wall Street Finance. If you want to click it, you can look through. And it has a meme of Arthur with the diamond. I thought that was fucking hilarious. That shit is just funny to me because they don't want anybody to sell these stocks. They just hold the line. Here's another meme. Me on Monday, not understanding the stock market at all, and me today. I think I just love this meme. This is just beautiful. This is a great meme. Right here. Here's another one. Oh, Wall Street is scared. They don't think we ride. For all we know, where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. Here's another one. Oh, here we go. Me. This one's fun. Me disguising myself as a head so I can get funds. And it just has, I believe that's Adele. Is that Adele?
I don't know. But it's funny how like people like collectively like, hey, that's what I find the most impressive is like how people are like actually collectively found like, hey, like let's all get together and do this thing, and it actually happened. And I think that's what's the funniest thing, because you imagine if you put thousands of dollars into it and nobody followed you, and you're just like, fuck. I mean,
it's pretty crazy. I mean, I think especially with this in these times, where people are hurting. Everybody's at home. Not everybody's doing much. Business is pretty low. People who have, people are getting fucking evicted from their, their apartments, their houses, whatever, their mortgages. They can't pay the bills. Yet people on Wall Street, economy doing fine, man. You know what I mean? All these companies.
It's kind of fucked up how Robinhood. I saw that Robinhood stopped people from buying it. Like they're not letting people buy it anymore, which is crazy to me.
Robinhood is like I guess this app that it's kind of like this money app. They call it Robinhood.
I have Robinhood, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can invest, right? You can just take money and you can trade.
Yeah, it
You can
makes it
trade on.
easy. It makes it's good for like it's like small stuff, you know.
So it turns out over the weekend, with Robinhood going on, they kind of stopped. They saw this rise in people buying stocks and people from this Reddit.
Oh, because
Everybody's just
they're in bed with them, you know. Like,
yeah. So it turns out Robinhood is a free app because when you have something that's free, it's not actually free because you're the
they take
product.
they're commission free, I believe.
Yeah, it's commission free,
They,
but what they do is they
they
take
take
data.
fees.
Supposedly, allegedly, they take data from this Robinhood app and they see what people are buying, and then they take that information and they sell it to the hedge funds, and the hedge funds use that information to kind of pad their thing, so they know what the market is doing, what are individuals doing, and then what can we do to as a hedge fund make profit. So there's a huge revolt. There's a huge. What I think this Reddit did was kind of expose like the hypocrisy of because people were going on TV like CNBC, all these business shows, and they're saying, "Oh, these people, they're manipulating the market." And we're like, well, I mean, you can say that, but kind of these hedge funds, they were like morally kind of bankrupt because they were betting on these companies losing and going out of business and fucking dissolving and going bankrupt. They were betting on that
But
to make.
it's almost kind of like, but what do you do? I mean, the company's just it's going like GameStop is inevitable. Like when they had this CEO switch, they thought they would change, but I mean, GameStop hasn't done anything crazy to really advert that. Like it's going out of business.
Yeah,
So,
and that's what they're saying about that these people are doing. They don't know what they're doing. That's pretty dangerous for people to just invest in. People are just trying to.
it is sketchy though to put your money into, especially right now. Like maybe early on when you put like $20 a share, and
$10 now
but
you're gonna
buying
buy.
it now, I would not buy it now. I would not fuck with it. It's too late.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of stand for it. I just walked as an outsider. I'm kind of getting into financial stuff. I'm kind of more interested in like crypto, learning about crypto stuff and how that works, which is it's kind of the same as Wall Street, but it's just offline, right? It's not a physical. Wall Street is like a physical place. It's in New York. They open the doors, people walk in, they trade, people walk out. And even though that's the idea of it, but really these trades are going on with bots and shit. They're doing that shit automatic. It's not like the
Well,
old
nowadays,
days.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like 1930s when they had a little ticker tape and like something printing out. You're like, oh shit, it's going up, it's going down. All this shit is done by bots, anyways, half the time. But I'm looking into more crypto stuff. How it's essentially the same thing, but it's like 24/7, right? Because the internet doesn't turn off, right? Wall Street is like
It's just another market. It's another market.
It's another place where people trade and they do commerce. They can make money. You can trade and.
But the only thing with crypto, I'm not sure, isn't it like there's only a certain amount out there. Like it's not like I don't know how to explain it. Like
yeah, so
there's only a limited amount of crypto, and that's why it affects the price of it. So it's like you can't like necessarily just kind of sit on it because it's all dependent on how many you have at the time.
So from my basic understanding, and I'm new to all this stuff, there is a limited amount of money, and they can create in some forms of currency. You can create money by mining. What's it called, mining? So that's how you can make money. It makes money out of nowhere, but it's not really making money out of nowhere. It's because when you mine, what you're doing is you're certifying like transactions. So if I want to send Julian $10 because I want to buy that Panthers hat, you have a Panthers hat on, right? You're not wearing a.
Yep.
You're not wearing a Jags hat. I want to send him
No.
some Bitcoin for that hat, right? I send it and it goes off to you. And what the miners do is they're kind of certifying our transaction. They're doing and the call is like gas. You send a little money, you send it to these miners, and they do the transaction for us. They kind of certify it. They say, yes, Gabe sent $20 for that Panthers hat. So and miners can make money out of that, and that's money out of nowhere essentially. But it's different there's different forms of money and stuff, and I'm just new to it. I'm getting into it. But going back to kind of this, because I was talking about Wall Street versus crypto. Crypto is like it's a market. It's kind of like Wall Street, except it's 24/7. It doesn't turn off. The internet don't turn off, so you can be trading all day. You know what I mean? And what happened with this Robinhood situation is Robinhood was like, "Oh yeah, we come to us, give us your money because you can buy stocks free. You can freely trade stocks and whatever." And when they saw this kind of rise in game stocks, they kind of shut it down. So it kind of was like antithetical to what they call themselves like Robin Hood is rich, steal from the rich, give to the poor. And in this case, these hedge funds, they're stealing from the poor so they can make themselves rich. And when they're betting on losers, and they put that risk. That's the thing with shorting, I guess, is when you short, you risk losing infinite amount of money because you're betting on a loser. But if they start gaining, then like you said, they owe.
Well, because the whole idea of it is that you're selling the stock hoping that it would go lower so you can rebuy it. But if all these guys are buying all these stocks up, raising the stock price, now the $20 you spent to buy that you sold that stock, you sold the stock for like $30, and now but it's up to 300. It's like, oh fuck, I can't rebuy that. I'm just going to lose all of this fucking money. But yeah, I think I do think it's pretty funny how these. What I think is just the funniest is that these guys like collectively came to like
together
to do this, and that's what I can't believe. It's like, wow, like people actually came together and did this.
People on the internet, just randos, just I guess they're pissed off about the economy, the situation, the state of affairs.
But I mean, this is just like a market, though. I mean, it's just I don't think they're like really upset. I think I truly think this is just a prank. Like I think like a elaborate like thing people, because it's like this is something that was going to happen anyways. Like it's just the market. I mean, GameStop, the market's telling us that look, people don't buy games physically anymore. They just don't. I mean, I'm a huge gamer. I don't remember the last time I bought a disc. I don't go to GameStop. You don't need to. It's a dying business. Yeah. So it's like.
So I think it's a big, F you. I just want to bring it up because, it is sports related. All these guys who are sports owners or, these CEOs of sports teams, maybe your favorite sports team, like I said, I just brought up the Mets, Golden State.
Yeah, what I saw was the Mets, Golden State,
the
Charlotte Hornets.
So we'll see. I guess in the upcoming months, we'll see how it affects, these financial gurus, these people who go to major schools and study this economic stuff. We'll see how it affects them. But I just want to bring it up because it is tangent. This happened like, this is just a Reddit story, but really it's kind of a sports story. You know what I mean? That's going on right now. So I just want to bring that up. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Fight the power. You know what I mean? Dan the man.
Dan the man.
Yeah, I just want to say that.
Dan Campbell. The dude. Dan the man.
So anyways, is there anything else?
Fight your fucking kneecaps off, man.
We covered pretty much everything today, right?
Yeah.
Before we leave.
Yeah, I just want to talk about like how we are currently still working on the blog right now. I am actually working on it. I'm hoping to have it done next week, so that should be awesome. Expect some posts and things like that. I think me and Gabe here, and me and myself as well, might start doing some solo streams like throughout the week between episodes, so we can bring some more content. So we're not just having because we're going to have our weekly podcast episodes, but then between those, we might do some like reaction things. So like say Monday, Deshaun Watson gets traded, like I'll be there live, Gabe might be there live or whatever. And we'll just like brainstorm and talk about whatever just happened, or like maybe for the Super Bowl, we do post game, like on Monday, like breaking down everything and all that. So we're looking to just kind of fill in some content between each episode with our blog, also having articles and stuff there, and then doing like a stream or two like before the thing based on breaking news and stuff like that. So expect some stuff like that. It's probably starting next week when it comes to like another video. I might do something Monday or Tuesday, not sure. But if you guys subscribe or follow the podcast, you will see that. That stuff will only be on YouTube. So and Facebook. But if you guys want to check out some of that content, go subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can see all that. But
all the things,
Spotify or stuff like that will just be the podcast. So yeah.
On all the things, Real Fans Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook,
everything.
Everything. So I appreciate
music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts.
Taking the time to listen to us today. Please come back to us, JoJo, safely. And don't be crying as much when you come back. Okay, I'm sorry about your.
It'll be okay, dude. You got next year, man.
What's next year?
You got the draft, bro. You got the free agency. You got.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. That's our episode 8. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned. Peace.
See ya.